Okay, so we're on the website. You can see here, easy to join up again, your email, username, password, all that. You can, of course, I think, sign in with the Facebook or iTunes account. It is important to click this box, yes, license my photos. If you don't, then people can't use the data. So it's particularly important to click that one. And I think you need to agree to these terms as well. I have an account, so I'm going to log in. Okay, so it's a little bit different on the website. When it comes to my home, it's a bit like your Facebook homepage. It's giving you the updates. This section here is from the forum, which is another website of iNaturalist, which you can discuss all sorts of things. Maybe you need taxa added. Maybe there's some things happening with taxa that people are talking about. There's other, there's how to use cameras and stuff like that, all sorts of things. Here you can see notifications that have happened, people that have given me IDs. We've got Alan Rockefeller's given me ID. We found this one yesterday. It's probably Deconica, Montana, but I can't be sure, so I'm not going to put that as in the ID. Something to consider, if you can't ID to the species level, but you can ID to the genus or even the family, that's the better thing to do. It's better not to guess. It's better to let someone else that may be an expert to give a more detailed identification. So we'll skip that. Some of these options here are the same as up here. So you've got your observations, you've got stuff here about projects. If I click this button, I can start identifying things. I'll start with Explore. Now, because I'm on the AU website, it comes up with everything Australian. So at the moment, I'm on all organisms, but if I want to search a species or if I want to search a location, I can click the location. Maybe I want to search Suillus, and it's going to give me some options. It'll give me the genus and maybe all the species that have been found. I can pick a location, so I can click Brisbane, for example. And it'll give me all the observations in the Brisbane area. If I click here on the map, it'll show me the map that they've picked. So it's literally what's considered Brisbane. I can see how many observations, how many species, how many people have been giving identifications, and how many people are actually doing the observations. So that number, 3,822, are making all these observations, which is pretty cool for those people. But imagine if we have a lot more people uploading fungi in particular, we're going to know a lot more, a lot quickly. Excuse me. I'll go back to grid view. I can see all the observations. If I go to list, it gives me a bit more information, tells me a bit more about the place, the time, the user, when they've uploaded. So if I want to pick, maybe I just want fungi. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to exit that. Now that's going to go to the world, but I'll go back to Australia. Now, if I just want to pick fungi and I pick this filter, we're not going to worry about this section or this section today. Maybe I'll do a more advanced presentation after people are getting excited. But you can see here, there's some different categories. This one's a little mushroom, so I'm going to pick that. Now that's going to pick all fungi. So it's everything in the kingdom of fungi. I'll go back to grid view. It's a bit better to look at. And it's going to bring up everything that is found in the whole entirety of Australia that is fungi or has been identified as fungi. So we can see, we can click on the observations. We can see a bit more detail. Looks like an agaricus. I can't see the attachment, but it does look agaricus. So if I wanted to suggest an idea, or maybe I give a comment, maybe I can actually do both in suggest ID. I can give a comment and I can suggest the species name. If I click the species name, it's going to come up with some options. And this is what I thought it would give these two, because these two can be similar without seeing a bit more detail. I still think it's agaricus, but I'm not gonna give an ID for this one. I'm just gonna leave this one at the moment. Maybe I could comment and say, did you happen to see the attachment? Something it is really important. I mean, I know a lot of people don't want to pick the mushroom, but if you're seeking an ID, then it really is I can't spell. It really is important. So I left a comment. I'm just going to hit this back. Okay, so we're back. Now, I'm not an expert. I know a lot about fungi, but I don't know every fungi, of course. I know that one's Marasmius oreates. So if I wanted to agree on this identification, so you can see up here, it says needs ID, and that's because only the person that's observed the species is given the ID. So it needs someone to come along and say, yes, that's that species. You can see here, there's widely spaced gills. The gills are white still. The spore print probably is going to be white in that case. You can see it's in some grass. You can see on top, I'm pretty confident you can see a little bit of striation there on the cap margin or the pileus margin. So I'm pretty confident that is Marasmius oreates. And I can click here, agree, sorry. And so that's going to say that I've given the same ID, and then because two people have agreed, that's made this research grade. So if a scientist is using data from this website for any reason, then they're only going to be interested in this research grade, the stuff that people have agreed on and that are confident that is that species they're looking for. But there, of course, there are wrong research grade. You know, if people aren't experienced and maybe they're just agreeing with identifications, and maybe there's some that are wrong, and hopefully some other people come along and see that and they say, oh, okay, this isn't right, and maybe they give an explanation why. I'm going to click up here because this is just my notifications again. It gives me all the notifications. Like I said, Alan Rockefeller's in Holland, so he's looking around the area and he's giving notifications. If I want to click here, this is going to show all my observations, and it's going to show all over the world because I have uploaded in a few different countries. It'll tell me how many observations, how many species. So maybe I've uploaded the same species a few times, or maybe there's species there that I don't know exactly what were, and I've left them at genus. And that's how many people have given identifications for me. If I click here, and I can filter through as well. If I only want to see fungi that I've uploaded, I can use the same filter service. If I want to pick a date or arrange a date, I'm like, I wonder what I found in January. I can do that. I can change some things here. The rank and the sort. Rank is like the class they're in, or the rank. So the kingdom is the highest rank that you'll find. Maybe you want to go all the way down to the species. Maybe there's a variety, subspecies, for example, that you just want to focus on. But I won't show too much detail on that now. So we leave that blank. Let's go back up. Community. So if I want to check out the projects that I'm in, this is the projects. I can search other projects and find projects in my area. I can log on to the forum. I can see my journal posts. I've got one journal post, which is basically just English. People haven't worked out I do live in the Netherlands. And now I'm on the bloody forum by mistake. So my journal post is just some tips for getting identification, and this is everyone's. So I need to go back. So I'll click here, journal posts, tips for getting an identification. I've posted these on the Facebook pages, but if you want to take a look, it is handy. There's a bit of funny stuff in there too. If I just want to get on and start identifying things, then of course I can explore and identify that way, but I can also identify this way. So it's going to show me everything at the moment. So I can filter to fungi, and it's going to show me just fungi. So I can just go through, and if I can see from just the photo that's the first photo that I know what it is, then I can just tick agree. This one I noticed before, it's only got one photo. Could well be Agaricus arvensis, but nobody could be confident. Yeah, without more information. So that one probably won't get an ID. Maybe someone will even knock it back to genus or even to Agaricales, because you just can't tell. Maybe it's Leucoagaricus. It's probably not, but maybe. This one's got, you can see how many photos down here. It's got 4 photos. So this one's probably a quality observation. You can see he's labeled it Omphalodus, he or she, sorry, is Omphalodus nidiformis, the ghost fungi, which is correct. You can really tell because of the color on top. Australia's having, especially the southeast, is having some good rain. So even autumn fungi are popping up at the moment, but these guys will pop up anytime there's good rain, and they glow in the dark. So if you can get there after dark and with a long exposure photo, you'll see them glowing in the dark. So I can click agree here because I do agree this is Omphalodus nidiformis. Maybe it's not the best photos because you can't see the stipe or the attachment of the lamellae, but there's some other features there that I agree on. So I'm going to click agree. See if I can find one that I disagree on, and I'll see. And people, lots of people just upload, they know that it's fungi, so they leave it at that. There's only one photo here, so we're not going to get any better, unfortunately. You can tell that it's a bolete, so you could change that to boletales. So if I click here, add ID. If I click, it's going to give me some, no, it's not going to give me some options in this one. So I'm just going to click boletales. And we'll leave it at that. Maybe someone can come along and increase on that ID, make it, put it closer to genus or species. I'm not even going to bother. I'll just keep going. So identify. So we'll show how to upload. I don't often upload with the website just because I take most of my photos with a phone, and it's a lot easier just to upload on the phone on the app. I do sometimes, if I have other photos that I want to add to an observation, sometimes I use the website on my phone. It is available, like you can look at it on your phone. It's a little bit harder because it's so small, but often I'll use that if I need to add some more detail or something like that. So I choose file. Mushrooms. This one, no. Let's just pick some random ones, hopefully all same. Looks like it. Now it's going to come up each individual photo, and if they're the one observation, then you need to combine them all. So you can select all up here and combine, or you can literally just drag each one into the observation. Then down here, it's asking you for some details. So if you know the species name, then you can type in the species name. Now it does depend on which photo you pick as the default photo to come up first, how good the observation or the identification from the eye from the iNaturalist website will give you. So if I click back on this, maybe I want a different photo, like this one that shows a bit more detail or a bit more of the features as the default photo. So I need to change it. I'm not going to worry about it. Ah, damn. This one, this one, this one. I don't know how to do it on the website. I'm sorry. I'll have to come back to that one. So I'll leave it at this. I was hoping it would come up with Saccharolaceae, but it hasn't. But that's what I was going to put it as. So I know it's in this family. I don't know exact species, but I'm hoping that someone else will come along. So it's picked up my time. It hasn't picked up the location, but if I know roughly where, I can pick on a map. I do know roughly where, but I'm just gonna pretend I know and I say there. And then I'll update. Some notes, if I want to say anything about the observation, then I put it in here. Location, I'll leave as public. Tags, if I want to tag anyone, then I can tag some people, maybe some people that are experts in that genus. Projects, if I wanted to add it to my fungicide project, or Grace's fungicide project, but I don't because this isn't in Australia and it's not a species she's after. But fields can be something that's important. So here you can type in the habitat. Maybe there's some trees around. You can type the substrate. It was soil. Maybe it was growing directly from wood. Maybe there's some key features like it was bright orange, or maybe you saw the spore print color. You can say there's a specimen kept, and you can actually add more fields as well. So maybe there's something particularly you want to say about this. And the reason why it's important to put it here in the fields is because that's all searchable. So maybe you're later, if you want to do an advanced search on something particular, maybe what's growing from wood, for example, you can search that in a function and it'll come up. And so if I don't fill that in, this won't be included in that data. So we've done everything. If the time's not right, I can change the time. Don't want that. And then basically all I need to do is hit submit. I'm not going to submit this one. This one's an old photo. I've probably already submitted it, but it's just an example. We'll go back. Cancel that. Remove that. Back. And I think that's about it, but you know, there's like lots of things you can do. Maybe you're searching a species, or maybe you want to know more about a species. There's lots of information. I'll just quickly go to fungi again. Show me all fungi in Australia. You know, genus Amanita. So this person has obscured their location. So it's giving me it's saying that it's in this radius. I mean, maybe if it's something you're interested in, you find roughly where it is in the environment, you probably find the same mushroom, but you can see they haven't given a lot of detail, but I bet this is in section Vegetate. So I can give an identification. Comes up in the options. And I click, okay, maybe I could comment and say you should photograph the base of the specimen as well. That would handy. Even if you don't want to pick it out of the ground, you know, getting as many photos is still better than only giving a few. Done. Still want to find one to disagree with. So you got some auricularia, blah, blah, blah. A paper recently came out with this, including some Australian samples, and they came up with some new names, but I think there's a little bit of debate about whether they should be really separate samples, species, sorry. You got Laetoporus portentosus, Volatiles, gotta be something. Got a Suillus species. Yep, you can definitely tell that's a Suillus. The paw shape, color, the cap. You can't see any pine needles around, but definitely this one would be growing with pinus. But if you're uploading this, for example, maybe that's something to include, growing with pinus, and then, you know, mostly without a doubt, you can say that, yeah, that is Suillus based on all the features. It needs ID, so I should ID it. It could be granulatus, maybe. It's hard to tell some of these ones. We have got quite a few Suillus in Australia that have been imported with different trees. There's some from America, some from Europe. Garicus really common at the moment with these spring rain. Hard to tell, but it looks like it. You've got that boxy marshmallow shape, browning on the cap, pileus. Can't quite see the annulus, but it looks a bit more complex than some of the other agaricus. So if I can pick the map as well, and I can just focus somewhere. So maybe I only want to. Oh, it's not loading for me. Let's just. So I'm from Tasmania, so I could just pick Tasmania if I wanted to, and I can redo the map in the search in the map that I've picked. So I pick that, go back to grid view. It's just showing me everything in Tasmania. And someone here's uploaded the ghost fungus after dark. That's cool. It's not working, so I won't bother. Here we've got a little LBM, little brown fungi, really hard to identify at times. This is probably something Gallerina. But again, you need to upload all the details in the photos so that people can identify them. It's not really much use putting this up. Oh, excellent. Okay, I think I'll leave it at that. I think everyone can possibly get the idea of how to get a start with iNaturalist. I think if people want to ask me any questions, just send me a message or an email. I'll put some details in the comments. And yeah, start uploading your fungi. Even if you've got old photos, you can upload all your old observations. Even if you want to obscure them just so that it's for your record, maybe you can start creating maps where you see your fungi. You can see, where is it? If I go back, you can see, you've got here a calendar. So you can see when you've uploaded, or it's not when you've uploaded, sorry, when you've taken the observations. So it's really cold here in Netherlands in January and February, so there's not so much fungi. The season sort of starts you know, the spring season starts in March, April with the morels, and then there's a little bit of a break, and then sort of midsummer when we get some good rain is when the autumn or late summer season starts, and then right through to September, October. We're well into November now, and we're still finding some good mushrooms. So it's all sort of stuff you can start looking at and going, oh, maybe it's not worth going out in February looking for mushrooms. Maybe I'll do something else. I hope you enjoyed. If you've got any feedback, maybe I talk too much rubbish about certain things, just give me some feedback. Yeah, and don't stop posting to the Facebook pages. If you want to really get interested in iNaturalist, maybe make your observation and then post your observation on iNaturalist, because people on there, of course, don't want to miss out either. And thank you.